Scientifically, let's think about this. If tomorrow all women disappeared from planet Earth and only men were left, how do you think people would do? Do you think that they could keep electricity going? They could keep food supply lines
Honestly,
up?
most men are pretty stupid, and we'd be dead in a few weeks about the women.
Wow.
Come on, every husband here knows for a fact that their wife has kept them alive, and you can't argue with me.
I didn't know I was debating like the final boss of Simps today, but here we are. So,
Andrew Wilson's wife, Rachel Wilson, crushes this beta male feminist live, proving feminism bad for society. In this debate, as Rachel Wilson, a woman can even see feminism is failing, and gets this liberal cuck to admit that men are in fact better than women. Let's get in.
every time we look at women having any limit put on them, we pretend as though that was not true for men as well, and it was. So he said women didn't have the vote. That's true. Did you know that men only got the right to vote about 10 years before women did? All men couldn't always vote. And people just assume this because it's always framed and presented this way, as though all men had all the rights and no women had any rights, and it's simply just historically inaccurate. Women had all kinds of rights. Men took very good care of them, and this is one of the reasons they did cite wanting to be anti-suffragists, because they said, look, we have protection and provision right now that we're going to lose if you try to make us equal with men. We don't want to go out and work 40-hour weeks and raise kids and be in government and politics and have to vote in opposition to our own husbands. We don't like this idea. We think it's going to break up families, and that's what we care about.
Well, I disagree that it breaks up families. I've got actually quite a lot of data on the when you were talking about child neglect and things like that, and yes, it's the rise of feminism is also the rise of that, but it's also the rise of Pokemon. There's been a rise of child neglect. You're doing a correlation, not causation thing there, and I'd love to actually go through the data with you at another point. I really want to talk to you about your book, because I did enjoy it a lot, honestly. But you just can't erase the fact that millions of women fought and marched and protested. Saying that women didn't want the vote is ignoring the fact that women were marching in the street saying, we want the vote.
Some women, a minority of women. So what?
Wasn't a minority.
It was a minority.
There was also a lot of women that wouldn't voice it, that they wanted it, because they were in the position of, well, my man maybe doesn't want me to vote, so I'm going to say that.
That's not what Susan B. Anthony said. She said that if women,
person.
By the way, this is the other great criticism everybody has of me, is that I'm a feminist because I wrote a book, or I'm a feminist because I'm here speaking to you. Again, 1902, Susan B. Anthony said, women are allowed to speak in public, women can write books. If we go back to the late 1700s, there were feminists writing polemics, touring, being single moms, right? Mary Wollstonecraft was a single mother who was paid to tour Europe and talk about feminism. She was paid to write. She made a living for herself off of writing about feminism in the late 1700s. So this idea that women couldn't do these things, it's a logical contradiction, because they had to do those things to even get feminism going.
Okay, nice. Sorry, I was getting a bit of feedback out of those.
But if you hold your mic up closer, you won't have to boost your audio.
Okay. Yeah, so not all women were voicing their opinions. The advent of feminism, a lot of women just weren't speaking up because they were very used to really not speaking up. Now, I'm going to agree with you that, yeah, women could teach and stuff before, but it was frowned upon in society in a lot of times. I'm not going to go listen to a woman talk. Who wants to listen to a woman talk? Whereas now, Rachel, you can stand on stage with an entire room of people that absolutely love listening to you. You are influencing these people in a way that feminism has attributed you the right to do.
That's not true. I just got done debunking that idea.
Let me finish my point. It's not just what the data shows, it's what the people's attitudes were. The men were the ones that were deciding what was happening. The men were saying to the women, oh, maybe you shouldn't have the vote. And the
men are still the ones deciding what's happening. I wouldn't be able to do this right now without men. This microphone I'm holding was invented by a man. A man plugged this in. James is running this whole debate.
And the woman can do that,
This
right?
Electricity, this technology, this building that we're sitting in is built by men and it's maintained by men. And women cannot do that.
The advancement of hold on. Who wrote the software that sent men to the moon?
Oh, women of color?
No. Who
They
cares
got
about
it
the
right.
color?
They got it right the first time, by the way, by hand.
Not who cares. Who cares about the color? I'm just in. The woman wrote the software for a man to go to the moon, and they chose a woman to that because she was the best one to do it at the time. In fact,
Sure they did, Greg.
before we had computers like we call computers, computers were usually women that were doing lots of math really, really quickly. That was what a computer was.
So do you think those women can build and maintain the infrastructure that allows us to have technology?
Absolutely they can. There's no reason why a woman could not use the tools that a man uses.
That's really weird because I've noticed this bizarre thing that feminism magically came about after the technological and industrial revolutions. Isn't it weird that we had thousands of years of history that women never dominated, feminism never came about? It's almost like we needed the industrial revolution and the technological revolution to produce technology that gave us this illusion that women are equal with men and that they can do everything a man can do. Over 90% of infrastructure jobs are still held by men. And it's not because women haven't been pushed to do it. It's not because they can't, because they just want to do it and the evil misogynists are keeping them out. Number one, they can't. Physically, they cannot run oil rigs. They cannot pour concrete all day. They cannot do roofing. They cannot. Physically, they can't do those things for more, if
the
they
largest
can do them
building
at all.
group where I live in Fife is run by women, and the majority of their employees are women, and one of the most successful.
What is it? Say the
I live
first
in a
part.
place called Fife in Scotland.
Okay.
And the largest building group is, a lot of their employees are women, and their CEO is a woman. Sorry.
Okay, who's putting up the steel beams? Who's laying the concrete?
The women that are doing the work using the tools.
Oh, they are?
There's no reason that a woman can't put some concrete into a thing, put it on to melt, and then pour it out. Tools allow you to do things. I was in the military, and I trained with lots of women that would go on the marches alongside me, and just be just as able to have endurance.
That's weird, because why don't we have any female Green Berets or Navy SEALs? After decades of them desperately trying to produce one, and they've still never been able to do it. Why do you think that is?
Because men are stronger, and the standards to get in are based on you doing this, and men are not. I'm never going to deny the fact you are 100% right. Men are bigger and stronger.
Yes.
But we live in a world where now, maybe before, obviously to get things started, maybe we needed bigger men to make the machines in the first place. But now we live in a world where the machines already exist to make other machines.
So you agree
that can
with
make
me?
tools.
He agrees
Hold
with
on
me.
one second, please.
He just conceded that it was men who created technological advancements that even made it
Rachel,
possible to imagine that women could be
Rachel,
on par
that is
with
the point.
men.
That is
Thank
the
you.
beginning.
Let me know down below if you agree with Rachel Wilson that this male feminist just basically outed his entire point. He keeps trying to say men and women are equal. We can do all the things. But at the same time, we men had to build the modern world for you to then be equal. So how does that work? Why weren't you equal before? Why didn't women build their own empires and their own buildings on their own? Why didn't they build Rome? Why didn't they come up with mathematics and literature? Why didn't they do all of that? Why? Because it was men who was the stronger. They were the smarter. They were the more strategic. They were the more tactile. They were more willing, the more gritty, the more dirty, the ones willing to do anything it had to do to get the job done. And women aren't willing to do that. And they don't even want to. They don't want to work sewage jobs. They don't want to work in super dangerous stuff. When given every opportunity when they go to college, they go into softer fields. They go into nursing. They go into nails tech or something like that. But the vast majority of guys are the ones who go into STEM. That keeps the entire infrastructure running. Men have higher IQ. They are more capable. The majority of all of the geniuses are men. The best chess players are men. On top of that, every time they pit men and women against one another in any form of competition, who wins? It's men. You got 60-year-old guys beating out, the women's national team. You got teenagers beating the same team. I just can't imagine the self-apathy, the self-loathing to look at a woman who is trying to tell you that you are better than me, and you actually not going along with that. You're going to argue with this woman that, no, I'm not better than you. You are, in fact, just as equal to me. And all the while, this idiot is so quick to put women in jobs, at no point does he consider the consequences to the children who don't have their mothers around to actually do the most important job a woman is to do, and that is to be a mother to her children. And we can obviously see how that is playing out in society. Because if you ask me, we have more messed up people walking around than ever before. But hit that like button and notification bell if you're enjoying the video. And if you want to help support the channel, check out the link down below in the description, and let's get back in.
That is where it started, but we live in a world now where it doesn't need to be just the men. A woman can do the job just as well as a man if the tools are available.
So it's just tools.
Well, the tools exist now.
So
and women can also make tools.
Have you ever seen the viral videos of men running oil rigs and going down into sewers and dealing with that sort of thing?
Are you saying there's 0 women that work on oil rigs?
There are almost 0 women in the
almost
hard
0,
labor.
or are there 0?
It doesn't matter if there's an outlier.
Of course it matters, because if you're saying that women can't do this job, that would mean that there has to be no women doing this job. If there is women doing this job, then that means women are capable of doing this job.
He's literally doing the meme where you say most women are shorter than men, and some woman goes, but I'm 5'7" though, and I know a man that's 5'4". It's
literally not what I'm saying. Your claim was that women can't work on oil rigs. That was the word you said. I'm not misquoting you. You said women. Then Rachel, why are there women that work on oil rigs? Why is there?
There aren't women that do the actual hard labor.
Are you claiming there is 0? Right, Rachel,
pulling the 300, 400-pound things. Have you ever seen a woman lift a 400-pound diesel engine and drop it into a truck?
Are you claiming there is no women in the world that do that job?
I'm claiming that women as a group cannot maintain...
No, Rachel, come on, stop avoiding the question.
Claim. Don't straw man my claim.
Is there any women in the world that do the job?
I'll grant it doesn't matter, because what I'm saying is...
she won't admit it. She won't admit that women are able to do the job. She's saying women are incapable of doing.
Maybe some women are. It has no bearing. Because here's the question, Craig. Here's the question. Can women as a whole keep the infrastructure that maintains this modern world going without men?
Yeah.
No, they can't.
Why not?
Well, you love science, right?
Yes.
So scientifically, let's think about this. If tomorrow all women disappeared from planet Earth and only men were left, how do you think people would do? Do you think that they could keep electricity going? They could keep food supply lines
Honestly, most men are pretty stupid, and we'd be dead in a few weeks without the women.
Wow.
Come on, every husband here knows for a fact that their wife has kept them alive, and you can't argue with me.
I didn't know I was debating like the final boss of Simps today, but here we are. So
I'm not going to deny that I adore women. I see the value. I see the value and the power that women can have, but I in no way think women are above men.
So
and that's one thing I just want to...
Let's ask the second part of the question.
Give me one sec.
Sure.
That's what I want to make clear. I am never going to claim that we should bow down to women and, women should be in charge. I just think that women should be afforded, if they want to do these things, the opportunity and the ability and the rights to do it.
Well, they've had that for 100 years and they don't want to do it. Guess what? The women here don't want to do sewage treatment work.
Maybe these women don't, but there's some that do.
They don't want to pour concrete. They don't want to do cell phone tower maintenance where you're climbing,
Rachel, then why is there people that do that are women?
There aren't.
None at all.
It's a tiny...
Once again, she's claiming that
it doesn't matter. It doesn't, as we've said.
It doesn't matter. This is not...
It doesn't matter. Pointing to an outlier does not mean that women as a group could maintain modern technical infrastructure.
Rachel,
I can't believe that a guy
claim.
who believes in science is sitting here trying to get you all to believe
Rachel,
that if men disappeared from the planet tomorrow, which is part 2 of my question, let me get it out. Part 2 of the question. All men disappear from planet Earth tomorrow, and it's only women. How long do you think people survive? How long do the lights stay on? How long do we have clean drinking water? How long do we have indoor plumbing? How long before buildings start collapsing, before elevators don't work? Because men are the ones that build and maintain these structures. Women, as a group, cannot and don't want to, but they cannot do it.
If all you didn't notice, this beta cuck on the right is arguing. He's so feminized. He's so much of a beta. He's literally arguing like a woman. Listen to his argument. He's trying to get her in a gotcha moment, while at the same time, his argument implies that if the minority, if there's a drop in the bucket, right, of women that are in the workforce doing this job, that there implies that the majority of women are therefore capable of doing it. Like, that's how so many of these feminists will argue. They will cherry pick the one example, the one little thing, and say, oh, see, this person can do it. Hence, therefore, it's okay that everyone else is going to be able to do it. No, absolutely not. He's still cherry picking from the minority to prove the rule. That's not how that works. It's the majority, the general majority that proves the rule. And the majority of women don't want to work up in a skyscraper. They don't want to be in a sewage plant. They don't want to do any of this stuff. And guess what? We've had decades of women who had full choice, full access to go wherever they want. And yet for some inexplicable reason, like Rachel Wilson pointed out, women don't choose to do that. They don't want to. They don't want to get dirty. I don't blame them. But this idiot on the right keeps on trying to think that he's the one in the right. But he's like, look, I got this one thing over here that proves you're wrong. That means the whole argument's wrong. It's like, bro, you are an absolute effing moron. The majority of women don't want to do this work, nor can they do this work, as proven by your own argument of a sliver of women being both capable and willing to do it. But thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought about what Rachel Wilson had to say, completely destroying this just absolute idiotic beta cuck in this debate. Thanks again, like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one.